Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. I feel like I always come on here when I am dealing with some barriers in my mind, and so all of these videos tend to be kind of intense, and I apologize that today is not any less of that. I am coming on because I'm feeling a bit of a flop today. I don't know, I'm not really feeling motivated. I'm feeling like I'm gaining a lot of weight, and I don't really care or something. I don't really know why. I don't care. Part of it, I think, is that I've sort of told myself that I'm not trying to date people right now, that there's just too many open wounds, and I really want to, buckle down in therapy and figure out what I need from a partnership. I also don't really want to be made to feel bad about myself. I'm just really realizing you can probably hear my my window unit equivalent in the background. Maybe I'll go turn that off 1 second. But yeah, I haven't historically, I think ultimately, well, I often tell myself that I want to lose weight for me, like for my health and the health benefits around that. I think that ultimately the biggest motivator for me around it has had to do with finding a partner. I don't really like saying that out loud because it's something that, self-love is something that I work on, and I worked on historically, and then when I started this channel, I told you all that I was really in a period of self-hatred and self-loathing, and realizing that once you have achieved self-love, it doesn't mean that like you're there forever, in the same way that like with advocacy and radical politics, it's not like once you feel like you're woke forever, you can still fall asleep. You can still fall asleep, and I think that fall back asleep, and I think that applies to self-love as well. And it was a hard realization because when, like a couple of years ago, maybe like 2014, when I feel like I was like really coming into my own and just really loving myself for who I was, and wasn't, like was shutting out all the external noise and the external pressure, I felt like I had done it. And I was just feeling really good about myself, and I felt like I truly was just focused on my health, and that I didn't need a man to complete me, or whatever else has kind of been like drilled in my brain over the years. If you've like watched my other videos where I like talk a little bit about, I don't know if I've talked that much about past relationships, because I think I'm trying to hold that information close to me, or not, go into specifics around things, because to be honest, almost everybody that I've dated in like a long-term way is somebody who currently impacts my life today. Even if I don't talk to them very often, or at all, because there are certain people I don't talk to ever, I still acknowledge the impact that those individuals have had on my life, and like I appreciate every single person. And I don't think that that's something you need to do with your exes. Like I think everybody has a different way of moving forward, or of reconciling with, the disconnect that happens between being so close to somebody and then having to let them go, but them still being alive and, you know, having a presence in the world, and the fact that both of you have probably impacted each other, especially if it was a few years long, or, you know, I don't know, sometimes length doesn't even matter. Sometimes impacts happen in like a really short period of time, but that is a whole other conversation. But yeah, so I think historically, even when I've reached these periods of me feeling like so enlightened and so filled with self-love, when it comes to weight loss specifically, and I'm not talking about working out or improving my mental health or like anything like that, when it comes specifically to a weight loss journey, that I think has primarily been motivated by my dating life. Whether it's that I'm single and I feel like nobody will like me unless I start dating or start losing weight, or if it's that, and then along those lines, if it's that I think that people won't want something long term, because that's another thing that I've noticed, is that when you are overweight, and you don't see this version of myself on this channel that often, but like, when you're overweight, and maybe in addition to that, when you are perceived as being sexy, because that's kind of been my go-to historically. Like, I can't just be pretty or like breathtakingly beautiful or whatever else because I am the size that I am. This is like the thought in my mind. This isn't, I'm not saying this is like the reality. Because of that, I've, in my fashion sense and the way that I present myself, especially with men, I really focus on my sexiness. And I think that, well, and that's also related to being a survivor of sexual assault and like all of the hang-ups I have in there and conversations about determining my worth and all of that stuff. But in my head, a lot of times when I want somebody, I want the possibility of somebody to actually want to stay with me, like for somebody to want to marry me, that is a thought that crosses my mind, that like I need to like lose weight in order for somebody to not just like think of me as being somebody sexy that they want to sleep with. Like, I want to be somebody who they want to marry. And like, I also understand like that that's kind of like a false reasoning, or a reasoning that doesn't really make sense, because there are plenty of people who are overweight who, you know, people, it's not like people just only want to have sex with them and don't want to actually have a relationship with them. But for some reason, like, that is kind of how it plays out in my mind. I don't know. You guys tell me. Is there any logic in that thinking? There might not be any logic in that thinking. I know I have like all kinds of hang-ups that I like attribute to me being overweight, and they could, you know, have nothing to do with me being overweight. It could be that if I, you know, lost 50 pounds and I was real thin, that I would still have all of these problems. The problem with being sexy or whatever. Maybe it's just like how you present yourself, and whether or not you're honest about your needs, like right up front. I mean, I think that's an important thing too, is like to tell people right up front, like what you're looking for, like not just like, I know that women so often are like told to like play it cool or something and just like be okay with something casual until it like turns into something else. But yeah, like I'm almost 30, like I'm not gonna do that anymore. Anyway, that's another aside. So I really do think that weight loss specifically for me has always been tied to my eligibility for marriage, to be honest. And that's like, ugh, that's so ridiculous and conservative, and that sucks that like that's the way that I think about it. And I know that, you know, it's because I've been told that in like a number of different ways from different people in my life. So it's not like it's just like all in my head or my fault or something. But I think when I'm not really planning on dating, I have a harder time to lose weight. Like, or when I'm not dating somebody who is telling me that I should lose weight, which I think is crappy. Like, I don't want to be dating you if you're going to tell me to lose weight. But I'm just saying, I'm just like recounting the instances in my life when I have lost weight pretty successfully. And it's always been around something about my dating life. So, yeah, I guess the question is, how do you find that motivation just for you? Like, I can find the motivation to go to the gym, and I can find the motivation to tell myself that eating a salad is like good for my mental health and like for my body, you know, and that I should do it. But I think it's the amount of salads and like the amount of restriction that is really hard for me. And it's just, I'm definitely participating in binge eating behaviors right now. They aren't terrible. But they're still bad, and they're definitely bad for my health and my blood pressure and, you know, everything like that. And it can lead to me having like a very sluggish day next day where I don't, you know, have strong motivation to work out. Like, I think I'm going to work out today, but I didn't fully binge yesterday, but I ate very poorly yesterday. And I don't know. And now today I just feel kind of off. And I know that it's a big part of it is because of the food that I'm putting in my body. It has like a huge impact on your entire day, like what you ate the day before. You know, not getting enough greens, like not getting enough fruit, not getting enough like water, because like feeling dehydrated because of how much salt that you ate. I have borderline blood pressure, so when and I don't know if you would feel this anyway, whether or not you had that, but like if I eat a lot of salt, the next day I can feel it. Like my body is like screaming at me that I ate too much salt. So I want to get better at it, and you know, maybe like it's not about weight loss. What I'm saying is that the biggest issue for me right now is what I'm eating, and I haven't been taking those steps to modify it that much. And I've been like replacing, I do this like every time. I've been feeling really lonely recently, and I've been like replacing those feelings with food. It's like a pattern, I think, that you develop, and it's a pattern that I've had for a long time. Comforting myself with food. So I want to shift the pattern, but I want to also decouple it from my dating life and from thinking that in order for me to be valuable, in order for people to want to marry me or whatever, that I would have to lose weight. So So I guess I kind of like need a reset on that. And I canceled my Weight Watchers subscription because I don't really want to do Weight Watchers. I just want to feel good in my body. I've been going to the beach a lot this summer, and it's like, you know, I feel almost okay in my body. And I want to feel like actually okay. And if we're talking like pounds wise, I think I'm like probably like 20 pounds away from like feeling actually okay, which is probably still maybe overweight or almost overweight or something. But that's like the goal here. It's not to be thin. It's for me to have motivation and for me to be able to do my days consistently because I didn't binge the night before. Because a binging episode will, like I said, disrupt the entire next day. So hopefully I can get to that point. Maybe that'll be like a new series on this channel. Not that I have series. Discussing those kinds of ideas. Because it's like, I don't know. It's like a hard beast to tackle for sure. Alright, well I hope you guys have a good day. I'm going to end it here. And it was good talking to you all. Bye.